Alrighty, good afternoon, not afternoon, well, evening. Uh, Ladies and gentlemen, this is Hajim Zir here with another quick movie review. This one is another Jet Li kung fu movie, and hopefully I'm gonna remember a lot of details. Of course, talking about the movie and him and what I really want to say, and some of the stuff I didn't get to say or incorporate in the last two Jet Li movies. But this is the Enforcer, but another alternative title is called My Father, that the Hero, and it stars, of course, Jet Li. I can't remember the actor that played the young son. I think it's Miso something. The funny thing in this movie, and I know another one he did, which was Black Mask, they gave them American names when it was dubbed. It was it was kind of funny, to me, because in some of them he has a Chinese name, but I guess they wouldn't appear to an American audience. But in this one, I can't remember what his character's name was, but his son's name was Johnny, which is American as fuck. But as some other noticeable Hong Kong actors in this, Collin Chou, who was in The Matrix as Seraph and who was in Fearless that played Hua Hongjiao's father, he's in that. The two of them are in this. Wait, he's in this. Wow, I didn't say the other person yet. He's in this, and if you guys ever saw the remake of the Karate Kid, the one with Jackie Chan in it, the guy that played the bully's master, he's in this. It was a clip, it just went by. I can't remember his name either, but he's also a good actor. He's also in the Iron Monkey with Donnie Yen as the second protagonist who played Dr. Wong. Um, Trying to think of who else is in this. If you guys ever saw Mr. Nice Guy, no, not Mr. Nice Guy, Rumble in the Bronx with Jackie Chan, the actress, I think her name is Anita Baker, that, or at least that's her English name. She passed away, God rest her soul. But um, she's in this too. And it's kind of funny because she reminds me of one of my ex girlfriends. The more and more I look at her, um, she's in this as one of the supporting characters who was the female cop. One of the other actors in this who had passed away, I think his name was Blackie. Corey Yuen, I think, is the director in this. Don't quote me on that. He stated, he was one of the most nicest and funniest guys, and he had passed away. I don't know when, but those are like the noticeable characters in this. Pretty much is about a, a a Hong Kong cop trying to infiltrate, the triad underworld. And it's kind of funny because I know in one of the movies Jet Li was gonna do, one of his agents had got killed, relating, to the triads. And of course, well, the timeline's all over the place with that story, but they had found out and ended up killing him. So he really didn't do many movies like this. More on the modern day, stuff going on in Hong Kong. And it's kind of funny with their politics there. You could say either today or, years back, but they're very funny at how certain things are put out there. Pretty much telling, the whole truth about something and how bad it may seem. They may start tripping pretty much like how they do here, with certain folks. I'm not gonna point any fingers, but uh this movie, I really liked it. It was really the whole start of really seeing Jet Li in a good dramatic role. 'Cause it's really a father and son story. The mother had died of a sickness, and both him and his kid, they get caught up in the criminal underworld, but they couldn't really interact with one another until a certain part of the movie. And the son is also skilled in fighting because his dad had taught him. And I really love these movies where known action stars, they can do dramatic roles and do other noticeable skills. So I know that the director said Jet Li is very good with weapons as he is unarmed. And as I stated before with Jet Li, one of his best dramatic roles was Fearless and Unleashed. I think Unleashed was one of his best dramatic roles. And it really showed him as a human being corrupted by a bad person and two people really humanizing him. And it was funny as I remember seeing it with my mom, and even at one moment she almost teared up, because the story was really that good. And even in this one, I had moments where I felt really bad, for the family, any child that had to grow up really quickly and you know sign a death, certificate, mainly because your father couldn't be there. He was caught up with his job, and even he felt a certain way when he found out. And you're just thrown in a dramatic situation at you know being a very young kid. And I will say the good thing about the Chinese and even the Koreans, they know how to do drama really, really well. They know how to hit some of your heartstrings. As a matter of fact, I think some of the commercials do a better job than some of the movies. Sometimes it could be over, dramatic, but with this, they really paced it and they took their time, and that's what I really love. Same thing, even with Jackie Chan. I got more respect for him for doing movies like the remake of the Karate Kid and the Foreigner. Only seen a couple scenes in the Foreigner, but I heard he had a very good dramatic performance, and then it was a really fucked up story. What happened in that, and it was very, very, realistic. But another good thing I liked about Jet and what I noticed about his movies, and I might even mention it on The Matrix, because on that, I think what really elevated it to the height that it got with the fight choreography, mainly because Yuen Ping had did it, but how fast Jet moves. And it was funny because when he came to the States and he did Lethal Weapon 4, he was told, to slow down because the camera couldn't capture his movements. And it was funny because if you see the movies he does here, yeah, that's part of the whole, spectacle. If that's a word. Even in Fist and Legend, I think that's like the fastest he ever moved in any movie. Even I had to rewind a couple of times to see, how did they, how did they do that? And when I reviewed Tai Chi Master, I know Brett Radner was saying when he saw the stick fight scene, how fast they moved, and he was really, really contemplating like, how did the hell did they do that? But the dope thing is that if you move that quick, you're doing something right. I was looking at something about the movie Demolition Man with Wesley Snipes, and they were saying the same thing, that he moved so quick that they couldn't capture his movements. And it was funny because when I go back and I look at some of the scenes he was in, it felt very, very off. You can tell it was telegraphed versus seeing an action movie like this, and they move so quick. And this is back in the day. They didn't have CG or major visual effects. Everything was in camera. Even with Tai Chi Master, even if you see the wires in some of the scenes, which I did see, nowadays some of them still shoot like this. They just, if anything digitally has to be touched up, is just a wire that's going to be, removed. But I really do appreciate that. I know Quentin Tarantino, when he did Kill Bill, that's like the only last kung fu action movie I could think of where there was no CG, because he hates doing CG. Everything, yeah, he wants all the money on the screen, and everything that you see is for real. I'm kind of curious if he would ever slightly compromise, but he probably wouldn't, because you know the only time I can see you really doing CG is if you have to put a bunch of people in one scene, like a big, massive master shot, and you don't want to, spend money, hiring extras, but you're going to be spending money anyway on visual effects. It's more about what you really want to do. And then, or, enhancing, environments. Eventually, when we get to Fast and the Furious, I remember, I think it was Tokyo Drift. Uh, a lot of people were mixed on it. Certain race fanatics, they loved the movie because it introduced, drifting, because a lot of them knew about it before the movie came out. But a lot of the criticism that, you know, that movie got in particular is that they use a lot of CG. And to me, that's bullshit because I looked behind the scenes and they were really drifting. They had precision drivers in most of those shots. The only thing that was digitally tampered with was the background. They may have added more people. They may have changed a certain background to make it look like Tokyo, because one of the chase scenes they couldn't do in Tokyo. They had to do it in LA. You know, Me personally, you know, depending on the kind of story that you're telling, CG is definitely gonna be a factor, or you want to use multiple media of elements, well, if it's miniatures or if it's pyrotechnics, really what you want to spend your money on, because at the end of the day, people are just gonna bitch and complain. You know, I'm kind of curious to know Quentin Tarantino what his favorite. Well, I know one of his favorite science fiction films is The Thing, but I wonder if he's ever going to say anything about Star Wars, because some of them they use digital effects. Well, the original trilogy, I don't think they did, but you, you see what I'm saying? It's like more of a time and place. I do agree that 9 times out of 10, since we're in the age of like the MCU, digital effects are like everywhere, and the Matrix and Star Wars are really a little bit responsible for that. You could say Jurassic Park as well, but to me, when you want something to look real, you really got to pick and choose. You as the director and the art department, and a lot of people behind the scenes, yeah, they're gonna, depending how much time and money you have to really put something on screen and say it was practical, it was a puppet, it wasn't, a CG spectacle, yada yada yada. But if I'm ever get into the world of filmmaking, most likely, I really want to be a comic book creator beforehand. Even I want to see what they're really going to do and do all that stuff, because it is very interesting, just to see their opinions and X, Y, and Z. But besides all that, that's pretty much all I have to say about this film. Again, the comment box is open. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And Ajim Zero is out. Sayonara.